Today we're going to release everything and everyone. You may be tempted to reclaim some old habits or see yourself in an old way. You could be someone who takes on more responsibility than necessary, or tends to do more than you're being asked, and that could be one of the old habits that you are being tempted to turn back to. But even as you're looking back at this old you recognize that that's not you anymore. You recognize that that was an old pattern that no longer fits. In this moment right now, there is a release happening of everything and everyone that you are holding on to or trying to hold on to. You're releasing it, and you are grabbing hold of yourself. You are supporting yourself. You are embracing yourself with that urge to embrace that outside of yourself. You're embracing yourself. Looking within, even down to the darkest parts of your being. And you are recognizing that. You are acknowledging that dark part of you. You are acknowledging that most unwanted, unattractive, uncelebrated part of you. And you are picking it up and you are embracing it as if you were picking up a young child and holding them in your arms as if you would never let them go. As if you were trying to make them a part of you and integrate them into your very being. That's how you are embracing the darkest, most uncelebrated, most unwanted, most hidden, most in the shadow part of you. You're looking at that square in the eye, and you're claiming it, and you are loving it, and you are acknowledging it. And you are upholding that part just as high, just as equally as you uphold those most delightful parts of yourself. The most revealed parts of yourself that hold all of the glory. We're holding both of those parts in equal perspective. And we're embracing it all together as one. This is important because out of the darkest, most hidden parts of our shadow selves, that's where our gifts are hidden. That's where our most valuable gifts are hidden. So it's necessary to embrace those parts. Even more so, because those are the parts that we tend to want to hide away and deny But we have to embrace those, whatever they are, because it's just as much a part of us as that highly celebrated, shown, revealed part. The part that we're proud of, the part that we brag about and we esteem, right? It's just as much a part of us as that part, equally as important. And so we embrace every part of us today. And in doing that, we're releasing everything, everyone else. It's important as we come to moments and we are trying to decide whether to let go of ourselves and hold on to someone or something else. And we're recognizing that whenever we're faced with that decision, there is a need to come to the point where it's a no-brainer. And our natural reflexes automatically release anything. That causes us to be tempted to sacrifice ourselves, to hold on to it. Anything that comes up and challenges us and causes us to actually weigh, to disclaim ourselves or deny ourselves or deny any valid points of how we're experiencing something. Anything that comes up that causes us to have to choose between releasing that truth within us or holding on to something else outside of us, we're coming to the point where it's going to be a no-brainer. It's not even going to be a debate anymore, because the natural selection, the natural reflex is going to be to hold on to self. There's not even going to be a comparison anymore. And we stand in that moment right now in recognition of that transition that's happening. This is a day that's been coming for a long time. It's as if we've been training for this day. All of the failed relationships, all of the moments where our hearts were broken, where disappointment was the result. Even those experiences that resulted in distrust, deceit, misfortune. And I'm speaking of family too. It has all led us to this point, right here, right now, in this time. And brought us back to face ourselves, to realize the value, the uncompromising value that lies within. Do you see it? Can you see it? When you close your eyes and you look within, can you see the light that shines ever so brightly, that illuminates your inner being? Can you feel the weight of it? And the weight of its desire to express outwardly. Wanting to create, wanting to carry forward the mission. And as we begin to understand the significance of what's lying within and how important it is to guard it and secure it and to treasure it and to not compromise it, everything outwardly began to be less important. We no longer look at things and people from the outward perspective. We no longer look and find value in the way things or people look, but there is an attractiveness that happens when you come to this level where you're able to see the very spirit, the very core of a person. And it has very little to do with the skin that we're in. But it's the energy that we can feel from that person. And it doesn't mean that you have to be right up on that person to feel it. You can just feel it. You can just see it. You can see through. Sometimes it's the most beautiful experience. Sometimes it's a beautiful thing. Sometimes it's not, but you can see it. And you can see value in everything. Value, beauty in everyone. Even if it's a little teeny small, little spark or little light, you can see it. And that light is what threads and weaves us all together. Because in that light is the purpose that connects us all. It's the purpose that we all hold, that we all have, connected to our higher selves. Connected to our souls, like why we came here, what we came to do, how we play a part in the grand scheme of things. It's all connected to that light within each of us. And that brings us, when we have this understanding, right? We began to be more compassionate, and we began to kind of place things in perspective. What seemed like this big, horrible, unforgivable sin or unforgivable act, right, turns into something that has purpose, or something that at least makes more sense when we begin to understand ourselves innately. When we begin to know ourselves innately, it makes it easier to know others. And so today, there's the opportunity to know ourselves better, deeper, by choosing ourselves, by declining old patterns and old cycles, and continuing to walk forward, being reminded of who we used to be. We're not that person anymore. And having the privilege to continue forward on this new path, looking up. So this is a reminder for someone today to keep moving forward, keep moving up, keep moving inwardly. And maybe this was a test just to see if we are really learning. But I hear that we are passing the test. We're passing. Our awareness has increased. And I'm hearing it has been uncomfortable, right? There's nothing more uncomfortable than walking in a dark space, not really being familiar with the area that you're in. And so you're having to navigate from the inside out because you're not familiar with where you are. And so one of the most uncomfortable things is being in that position and yet still having to trust, yet still having to take a step, right? You can't stand still, but you have to keep taking a step and keep moving forward and trusting your instincts, trusting your intuition, trusting those gut nudges. It's difficult and it's uncomfortable, but necessary. And for some, this is the experience right now. And there's a transition that's happening where you are being taken up. Yet in that space where you're being taken, it's going to require even more, which is why there is this training taking place, this experience taking place in the dark right now, where you don't know, because you're having to learn to trust yourself. You're having to learn to connect with yourself instead of grabbing outwardly, because where you're being taken is going to require even more of that, more keen awareness, more tenacity. A higher level of functioning. So you're being transported through that transport, this experience of being in the dark, again, is preparing you. It's preparing so that when you step out, you'll be ready and you'll have the experience in order to navigate where you're going. Yeah. So all of what is happening right now is giving the opportunity to really understand what it means to choose yourself, what it means to be in a place where there's so much energy around you, so many voices, so many opinions, so much advice, right? You're in this place where you have all these multi-sensory experiences coming at you, around you, available, right? But the challenge and the test is for you to remain steady, steadfast, sure, and aware within yourself. And to not be influenced by anything outside of yourself. The test is to remain in position where you understand that you are being placed. And in spite of having all this around you, right, with the potential of, changing you or, influencing you to be led somewhere else or to be someone else, right? It's to strengthen you within your own resolve, within yourself. It's to teach you and to allow you to grow by listening to yourself, by trusting yourself, by understanding yourself. It's almost like a rite of passage. And so today is a very beautiful day because we are aware. We're no longer asleep. We're no longer sleepwalking aimlessly through life, but we're aware. Even though it's difficult navigating, at least we are aware and we're making conscious effort to navigate through. That's the difference. We're conscious, we're aware, we're awake. Doesn't mean it's going to be easier, but we get to decide through conscious decision, through conscious effort and intention, as we choose to align ourselves with our highest soul intention, our highest soul mission, right? We get to make that decision to walk that path, to take that challenge, to make that contribution. And it's beautiful. I believe it's why Spirit is bringing that up today. And so for whoever this is for you. I receive this. And so Spirit is saying, yes, You are being led to release everything and everyone so that you might choose yourself. Release old patterns, old mentalities, old cycles so that you might choose your higher path. And you will find, says Spirit, that when you choose yourself and align yourself, everything will just easily come to you. It will align with you. It will be released from the vortex, exactly where it needs to be. This is your message from Spirit today. Be well.